All right. So, okay, here we go. I want to start with this video clip, okay? I'm gonna, and it's more just because I think it's really interesting. So let me show you and let me optimize for video clip. Okay, because it's gonna have a point, I promise. So this is the video clip for today. Can you all see this? She does not drown. This is a beautiful day. Okay, so there's a purpose to this. Number one, have any of you experienced that moment when you're trying to get out of the ocean and you cannot?
Can't say I have.
I mean, not as excessive as that.
Oh, I do know that there was a day when I was in Puerto Vallarta and I was trying to get out of the ocean and I started laughing and I could not get out and my friend had to come get me. And by the end, my drawers were full of sand. It was so unfortunate. But there's a purpose to watching this video today, okay? Number one, I can relate to it. But the second thing is this. As we've been going through all of this content, it's with the idea that we are not a victim of anything, right? So when we look at this clip, the woman in the clip, or actually the whole group, they are a victim of a wave, right? And it's interesting because we always see that little picture, you know, where it's the ripple effect. So there's the drop and then there's this. And I started thinking about that last night and thinking, well, we always think that we're the drop, which is what we want, right? Because that's called 100% responsibility. The drop is the 100% responsibility. Unfortunately, we live a lot of our life at the effect end of the wave, which is what she was living. Do you kind of get that, like from the idea of it, that we want the 100% responsibility and we talk a good game of 100% responsibility, but then when life happens, it's like, oh, it's the wave that hits me. And it's the wave, it's the external, and that's what I'm dealing with. And so I'm trying to manage the external versus getting at the cause of it. Now, I don't know, I'm gonna assume that she had, I mean, it looked like they were on vacation. Maybe she had had a little bit to drink, that kind of thing. I don't know, I'm making up total stories. But I think it's interesting, right? That we make up stories to go, oh, here's why I can't get out of the wave. Here's why somebody else has to come and get me. Here's why it's whatever. But do you start to see that, or what do you think about that?
I agree with what you're saying. When I was watching it, I was thinking more along the line of you can dip below the line and you might get yourself back up a little bit, but then all of a sudden, whoops, you get drugged back in again. That's kind of how I was relating to that.
Yeah.
You know, vicious cycle, like with kids at home, you know, you might yell at them to pick up their toys and then, oh, they do. And then all of a sudden the next day they're back out again. So that's kind of how I was relating.
Yeah. And I love that, because dipping below the line is being at the effect or being the victim of the wave. Yeah, I love that. Brilliant. What else did you see?
What I thought was interesting is we were looking at that as an observer, and we could very easily see what was going on and probably easily offer recommendations on what to do. But if we were that person, like, it would have been a completely different observation. Like, you're in it, you're just trying to get out, you're freaking out, your heart rate's racing, you're trying as fast as you can, and you can't really detach from that. And it's a perfect example to when our egos flare up, when our tempers rise, when our fists clench and our jaws tighten. Like, we can't do that. We're in it, and we're just in it and trying to survive, as opposed to like, oh wait, let me figure out how actually to work out of this.
Yeah, let me stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. I love that. Great observation. What else did you see while you were looking at it? What else was crossing your mind?
I was waiting to see how she was going to react when she actually got up and got out of the water, because that's something that I've been working on personally, is just realizing, okay, there's a situation, you're below the line. Now, how am I going to react to that after I get myself out? Like, am I going to beat myself down that I went primal? Or am I going to recognize that the lesson I could be learning, it's an opportunity to learn a new lesson, and then move on?
Yeah, love it. And with her, she walks off camera. We don't actually see, but she just looked exhausted. And I even like that though, right? Because sometimes after all the mental calisthenics and replaying it and going over it, it's like we are just exhausted. Like, forget about it. I'm never going back in the ocean. What else? Thank you. What else what else crossed your mind as you watched that?
I was thinking about how I bet you the metaphor or the analog I think is really good, because she stands up, she's like, I got to get out of here. And then, and I was thinking about if you're in a primal conversation and then all of a sudden the next, like, I know I need to just get out there, and then boom, you get hit again. And like, okay, and trying to get reoriented and then standing up again, and then boom, and it's like, oh crap, like how am I going to get out of this? So I was putting a not great conversation on top of that, as if it was like the same thing that was happening. And as you said, it's like you get out of it and you're emotionally exhausted, and like it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, I love it. Other thoughts? Really, I mean, it's great, right? I mean, here it's just a goofy clip until we start talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, what do we see in the context of what we're learning? What can we see? What do we observe from it? So I think it's awesome. I want to move into something, and then I want to save some time also so that we can talk through some situations maybe that are coming up for you. Yesterday in the email, it was think about things that it might be, they might seem meaningless, and yet, wow, there's a lesson to be learned there. Or if you've learned a lesson and you want to share it, we'll make time for that. So I want to talk about the idea of time management. Keeps coming up. It's one of those things that I hear it all the time, and we're like, oh, I need to manage my time, especially now that we have this idea of, I saw something that said, I just realized I'm living at work, and I laughed. It's like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny, right? Except for the fact that it's also kind of true for some people who are still working at home. So it's coming down to this time management. I need to manage my time. And some of you, we've had this conversation, but I want to talk about this from, there is no such thing, right? I want to manage time it's a lie. It doesn't exist. It's impossible. It is a thing that we try to control that we cannot control. It'd be like the lady in the clip saying, I'm going to manage the ocean. It's like, no, you're not. The ocean is going to happen, and you're going to have to deal with the ocean. Same with time. Time is going to happen. So then the next thing that people say, they'll get that and go, well, okay, I can't manage time, so I'm going to manage the time I've been given. It's like, okay, I kind of get that. It's moving in the right direction. But even then, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to manage the time I've been given, as if the time I've been given is such a great gift, right? Like, and it's a different gift than everybody else got. And it's like, well, no, it's not. It's the same gift. Everybody got the same gift. 525,600 minutes. Yay, we had to have a musical moment. So that's it, right? We all get the same gift. So the language is, I'm going to manage the time I've been given. That means we're still looking at managing something outside of ourselves. There's the problem. The only thing we manage is we manage ourselves, and time happens. The lady in the video manages herself, and the waves happen. The ocean happens, right? So do you get the concept? Very easy, yes? Any questions about that? Because it's super easy. Yes? Okay. Pausing.
So,
Sure.
so,
Okay.
so something I was thinking about, and I didn't say this last time, and I think this is a connection you're starting to make. Like, I was thinking as she was getting hammered by the wave, that if she figured out how to ride the wave instead of fighting it, then all of a sudden she would have been on shore. It's like, just ride it in, dummy. And I was thinking about there's a way of riding the conversation where, you know, you're not fighting it, you're going with the grain, and you can get through the uncomfortable situations or conversations or crucial conversations in a way where you're still getting to the shore, but it's a hell of a lot easier and you're not exhausted at the end. And that,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's part of the same thing, but I was
I love
also
it.
thinking about that too.
Yeah, because you could actually do it in a way that's exhilarating. All the surfers in the world are like, waves. Yeah, very cool. What else? Anything else you want to clear up right there? That the concept of it's you and you manage you, time happens. It's you, you manage you, the waves happen. Anything else there? It was brilliant. So let's start mapping this into other parts of life. It's you and you manage people. And sometimes in those situations, look at how easy it is to go, oh, I'm focused externally on them. If I could get them to, if they would only, if whatever that is, right? Like if they would do, then I would be okay. So, oops, sorry. So this thing with mapping it into it, it goes, oh, well, if it's true that I manage me and time happens, I manage me and the waves happen, then just like Keith said, I manage me and the conversations happen. I manage me and whoever that is over there, they manage them. That would be true of children. I manage me, my child manages themselves. It would be true of colleagues. I manage me, they manage themselves. It would be true of parents. I manage me, they manage themselves. It would be true of spouses. I manage me, they manage themselves. It would be true of siblings. I manage me, they manage themselves. And as we keep thinking into that, it's like, wow, this is where the 100% responsibility starts to show up, because as soon as I look external, I am no longer 100% responsible for me. 9 times out of 10, I'm saying, like I said, never, and then I said 9 times out of 10, so you can take whichever version you like. When I'm focused on them, then I am not at my best, because I'm probably comparing, or I'm judging, or I'm worrying, or I'm in some state that's going to be primal. When I can stay focused here, and how am I managing me, because it's the only thing that I can actually manage in the whole world, how am I doing with that? That's where we actually start to elevate our game. Kind of walk through that very slowly, but you know what I mean? Like I could tell my speech pattern was a little bit slow there, but I wanted to let it sink in so that you could actually hear your own thoughts in the middle of it too, to go, yeah, but how about what if, or, oh, I get it, or, uh-oh, what about? What came up for you as you were thinking through that or listening to it?
I thought of an example, and this is a repeat for the PDC group that's here, because I shared this with them, and also for Tommy and Cole. This is actually about Brandon. It's such a small, tiny thing that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But my comment was, he needs to stop doing that, and like that is so, like, it's on him. He needs to. And then I, again, it was so small and easy to kind of play with in this model, where I switched it to like, oh, I need to coach him. I need to I need to discuss this with him. I need to bring it up. I need to make sure So like all of that was me, and it just changed from a completely it changed from a primal state where, well, he's doing this, he keeps doing this, versus, oh, I can fix this, like I can do this, I can do what's going to correct this. So it put me into a powerful state.
Love that. I'm going to push on that for just a second because I thought I heard something. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
So what I think I heard, and you stopped right before it, was I loved everything that you were saying, right? Like, oh, he needs to do this. Totally right. Like, I don't know if he needs to do it or not. He gets to decide that, right? So I love the shift. That was awesome and a great catch. I need to bring this up. Here's what's in my control. I need to bring it up. I need to discuss it. I need to whatever that is, right? And then I thought I heard you almost go to, I need to bring it up so that he prioritizes it.
Yeah, definitely.
Who gets to choose whether he prioritizes it?
He does.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the suffering happens when he's not doing what I think he should be doing.
Yeah. Now the question, the resistance that I have in that is like, this is good. Like, this is where I got to do the work. If I want to achieve a desired result and it involves both of us, I can focus on what I can focus on. The other person still needs to do their part, right?
Correct.
But the point is, like, all I can do is just focus on me. So it's to a certain degree, I mean, yeah, it's like irrelevant suffering over them not doing something because it's just useless, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was going to add
Hold
something.
on just
Go
a
ahead.
second.
Yep.
So Mike, with that, what are you, when you bring it up, how do you know that you just did your 100% responsibility?
I own the fact that whatever was happening, I created a portion of it. I created my portion of it.
And how do you know in this situation that there's something going on? And at first it was, I need to bring it up so that he prioritizes it. So you know you've done a good job in that language. You know you've done a good job when he prioritizes it.
Well, I think it would be, I know I did a good job when what's happening stops happening.
Uh-huh. How do you know you did a good job?
When it works.
How do you know you did a good job?
I don't know. I feel like I'm missing it.
Keep looking. You'll find it.
Well, I would it be like, how do I know when I did a good job when I'm satisfied with the result?
Yeah. Keep going. When you, like in this situation, we're at 100% responsibility and you cannot be responsible for somebody else. They are responsible for them. I'm responsible for me. Time is going to happen. I'm responsible for me. The waves are going to happen. I'm responsible for me.
I think I got, okay. So how do I know when I've done a successful job, when I'm doing what I can do to mitigate it from happening, like when I'm doing my part to co-create what I want.
And what's your part in this situation with Brandon? Is that who this was?
Yep.
What's your part?
Like allowing it to continue.
Or what's your part? 100% responsibility. You've already said it, by the way.
Shit.
Does anybody else see it yet?
I love this because when other people do it, it's like so clear. But for me, I'm literally in the wave.
It's awesome. You're doing
I don't know. Like, anyone want to throw me a lifeline?
No, they do not.
Take it.
We are watching you drown and we're videotaping it.
Yeah, literally.
No. Because you've already said it. What's your part You said it right at the beginning, and then you got hooked into when he prioritizes it. What's your part in this situation? What's in your control?
Me discussing it with him.
Brilliant.
Boom. All right.
How do you know you did a good job?
When I discuss it with him.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Did everybody else see that? Like, the success of our 100% responsibility is not determined by how the other person behaves. Our responsibility, our success is because I had something in my control, bring it up. And when I bring it up, I have now taken 100% responsibility. That's my part. That's me managing me, and the wave happened. The conversation happened. They do whatever they do with it.
I got it. So because anything else would be me trying to change the wave.
What?
Yeah. All right. Got it. Okay. Good.
Did y'all get that for yourself as that was happening there? What did
I saw a bunch of nods, and I'm like, damn it. They all got it, but it took me a long time. So
always, because everybody outside was like, lady, stand up, lady, ride the wave in. Like you said at the beginning, when it's somebody else, we can see it. When it's our own, it's like, wow, we are in the waves. And I've attached my success to the wave rather than attaching my success to, in my opinion, she was successful. She did not drown. Right? Like, sorry. What did you guys get for yourself? And thank you, Billy Joe, for laughing at that. So what did you guys get for yourself as you were listening to Mike talk through it and think it out? And isn't it cool that I love the fact that he is so darn coachable. He's just in it. He didn't tap out. He didn't give up on himself. He's like, yeah, I got this. Like, brilliant.
You did ask for a lifeline though, and you denied that.
Yeah, well, I just believe in you, Mike. I knew you could do it. What did you guys get for yourself listening to it?
For me, I am always like so worried about if I do something or I say something, like, what is that person going to think of me? Like, whether it's as a coworker or an acquisitions manager or as a friend or a girlfriend or a daughter. So if I can if my responsibility is just to not worry about what the other person, like, if it's just me and I do what I can control, I cannot worry about how other people react or what they're going to do or say, as long as I am taking responsibility.
Brilliant. How much energy would that free up for you if you could have conversations from a place of, wow, if I'm taking care of me, I don't have to worry about that other part of it. What would that free up for you?
Oh, so much. Like, just the time that I spend on like worrying about like that worst case scenario, or which right now as a region, we are going through the Road Back to You book, which is the Enneagram book. And that is like, my Enneagram number is I always think the worst. And so like just being able to even realize like I can control what I can control and not worry about, what everyone else is thinking, would save me so much time to concentrate on other things than that time that I'm wasting worrying about things.
That's brilliant. And really, even in the Enneagram, so what number is that worries all the time?
A 6. A 6 is the loyalist, and their biggest thing is fear and thinking of the worst case scenarios.
Brilliant. So even in the Enneagram, I love that, right? Enneagram work. And the reason I love it is because Enneagram goes beyond, it's not a personality test, but it is like an indicator on a journey to not identify with that number, but to actually give clues into, how do I elevate into a space that's living the highest level, when that personality was probably put in place by the time I was 5 years old, right? So all of those things, our personality is all designed very quickly in our life, and it's there to serve us. But what served us when we were 5 does not necessarily serve us when we're adults. So it gives us an opportunity to look and then to move beyond it. So I love that. And I love that it's like, oh, this is where I'm beginning the journey in this number, whatever that is. But that's not who I am. It's not who I was designed to be. I was not designed to be a worrier. I just need to know that somewhere in my life, worrying served me. It's just not serving me now. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good. What else did you have come up for you? Thank you, by the way. Brilliant, brilliant. And I love the powerful state of, wow, I get to own that I step in. I live my life. I say things from an energetic space, from that powerful space, versus saying it from a worried space. And how often, sorry, I just said we're going to move on, and here I am still talking about it, and how often from the worried space do things turn out as badly as you think they're going to?
Absolutely never.
Yeah, that's so great. I love it. And when you generate or create something from worry, does that bring up your best vibrant self?
Never.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love it. Way to go, you. Power.
Thanks.
Yeah, like long distance high 5, high 10, high 10. All right. What else did you have in mind as you were listening to Mike and you were listening to Shauna?
I was going to say the thing. Oh, go ahead.
Amanda? No,
gosh.
go ahead, Amanda.
I was just going to say something that I struggle with from a leadership perspective is trying to do everything I can to help the other person be successful. But ultimately what I think the main problem is I want them to be successful, but they might not be there yet. So realizing that I just need to do my due diligence. I'm only responsible for what I can control, my actions, what I'm putting into it. And I guess just hope that the other person wants the same or, is on the same page, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I love the language of, I want them to be successful. They're just not there yet. So does that mean that they're not successful?
Mm-mm.
What does it mean?
So to clarify, I'm thinking of a specific situation, but I don't feel comfortable saying it out loud. In this situation, it's like I want so much for this particular person, and I just don't think they're ready to take the jump to put in that extra work or to live outside their comfort zone.
Yeah. And who thinks they should live outside their comfort zone?
Me.
Yeah. And so what's the problem with that?
I can't control them.
Yeah. And who's suffering because they should be doing it differently?
Technically myself, even though that's not right.
It's not?
Well, I don't want to suffer. Like I shouldn't be suffering because I can't control them.
Yes. But in that powerful decision, I've decided they're not ready. I've decided they should be farther along. I've decided they're not actually trying. I'm putting words in your mouth, right? But it's that I've decided that creates the suffering. And would you ever make those decisions intelligently?
Not without their input.
So what decision would you make for yourself that would shift you into a powerful way to be in relationship with this person?
My initial thought is I've done all I can and now the ball's in their court. If they want to take the help, then awesome. If they don't, then awesome.
Yeah, let's switch that because that sounded a lot like some victim language.
Okay.
I've done all I can. They're not. Did you? I mean, if I say it back to you, right? Like I've done.
Isn't that like owning, like taking responsibility? Isn't that like owning it?
They're great distinction. So owning it from a victim point, I've done everything I can, it's all on them, they're going to have to figure it out. Until then, I'm going to suffer in silence, and I'm going to be a victim of get your act together. So there's that way to be in it. There's another way that would be a powerful, I've decided. What would you decide about them or about you that allows you to be in that powerful space versus the victim space? This is a great distinction, by the way. Anybody else, as you heard it, you're like, yeah, that's a great question. So, yeah. So what do you think? And Mike's like, yay, it's you, it's not me. I'll talk about this all day.
And I'm like, oh crap.
No, because you're super coachable. You'll get this.
Right. So
Yeah, say right, like you mean it. That was like a, yeah, right. Like, yay, I am coachable. This is going to be awesome.
My initial thought, I guess, would be, I've decided, well, I guess if we're using those words, I've decided I'm going to keep trying. I've decided, you know, I am a good leader. I am communicating this right.
Yeah.
I've decided they'll get it when they're ready.
Yes. I've decided they're exactly where they need to be.
Right.
I've decided they'll get it when they can see it. Right? As leaders, this is brilliant, right? Because as leaders, we see things that other people don't. And actually, that's not even as leaders. That's just as humans. As humans, we see things that other people don't in their own life. And as soon as we try to map what we think they should be doing, we are the ones now suffering. So I manage me while they manage themselves. Well, what am I managing over here? I'm managing my should. They should be farther along. I'm managing, I should be doing more. I'm managing, well, okay, they just have to do it when they get there. It's like we get to choose. So that I've decided they're exactly where they need to be in their development. I've decided I can help. I've decided it's okay. I've decided they're great. I've decided we're going to keep moving along. I've decided we're going to work better together. I've decided we can make a million decisions about that. We just have to make sure I've decided is powerful, not victim.
Right.
What did you get from that, Amanda? What did you get listening to that? What did you get for yourself? And then I'd like to hear your power, like what would you actually say is your powerful I've decided?
When I hear you say that, I mean, it makes sense. All the dots are connecting. It's just, it's a muscle that's very small that I'm trying to work.
Yeah.
It's hard for me because you want the best for someone, and you just have to realize that they also want the best for themselves. They just are in a different path to get there.
Yeah. So the language, do you mind if we just keep pushing into this? Because it's so good. It's
Yeah,
just juicy and meaty, and I love it. So the language, I want the best for them. What does that, like, if you take that, just take those words, I want the best for them. What does that imply about where they are currently?
I want them to keep growing, keep challenging themselves.
And are they okay as they are?
Yes.
For sure?
Well, I mean, I feel like if they weren't okay, it'd be a different conversation.
Well, but it's interesting, right? Like, I want the best for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be careful. Where does that come from? Is that really coming from I want the best for them loving, and therefore I understand they're perfect exactly where they are? Or I want the best for them and they're falling short, so now I'm judging. Where does I want the best for them? Where does that reside? And
Definitely,
it's language, right?
Yeah, definitely the latter one.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting though, to go, oh, because sometimes our best intentions get twisted up in some language that it's like, but wait, I want the best for them. So it's okay that I judge. I want the best for them. So it's okay that I think they're not good enough right now. And we kind of sneak ourselves into it versus, no, I really do want the best for them, and they are exactly where they need to be. And I'm in it with them.
Right.
Do you guys hear that? The rest of, are you guys pondering? Did you fall asleep? What'd you think?
It's very true. I can.
Aw. Billy, you froze. Who else? Okay.
I caught something new there. We're all pretty familiar with Jocko and his like ownership, like so on the surface, there appears to be a juxtaposition between what you're saying and what Jocko's saying, and what I just caught for one of the first times here was in this case, Amanda, if you take more than 100% ownership, you're going to force the other person to do whatever it is they're going to do, and that's not them taking 100% responsibility, and that's actually not what's in their best interest. What's in the best interest of everybody would be to you take your 100% and them to take theirs and do it when they do it. And at that point, it like I guess, Pam, this is more of a question. Is that a correct connection?
Yeah. But it's also coming back to, where am I starting that thought? If that thought is, the words that come out are, I want the best for them. But the thought is, they're not doing enough. They're not adequate. They're insufficient, or whatever that is. And then I generate the language, I want the best for them. Well, I've generated it from a primal thought. Right? So my ownership is not of them. My ownership is of me. How did I 100% show up for that? And did I just trick myself with the language of, no, I really want the best for them, but I tricked myself into thinking, oh, that sounds powerful. No, because it generated from a primal thought. They're not enough. When it comes from, I really do want the best for them. I stand for them. I want them to be great. And they already are. They're exactly where they need to be. Now
that part is where I get lost, because the fact that when we all say to ourselves, well, I want the best for them, that's coming from a place of, well, I'm only thinking that if there's a difference between how I'm seeing they're operating or how they are and what I think they could and should. And so I've been thinking about this more as this is a tool to get yourself to think and talk about it from a powerful place. Because if they're exactly where they're supposed to be, which is like the language that we're using, then what's the point? And this might be just like a word game that we're playing, but It's like, if they already are where they're supposed to be, then what am I bringing this up for in the first place?
Well, because it isn't saying they're where they're going. It's just saying that's where they are. It doesn't mean it's all they're going to ever be. It doesn't mean there's nothing for them to learn here. It's simply...
I'm just thinking about it from like there's judgment in there.
Yeah.
If I see potential, and I'm speaking for, well, I could do this for me too. I see where there's, I don't know, opportunity for betterment. And it could be anything with anybody.
Yeah.
And doesn't that mean by definition I'm judging them? And now it's like, well, I want to impose growth or impose a difference. And that part, I'm like, well, yeah, I think there is judgment there, but I want to be able to converse about it or talk about it in a way that's coming from a more powerful place than from coming from below the line and getting into a, judgy, bickering, getting hit by the wave.
Yeah.
But what I don't know is, like, this is the part where I'm not tracking. So help me see where I'm going wrong.
Well, this is the part where it's wrestling with, can I hold space for people to grow without judging where they are right now?
Well, again, I don't know if this is a word game, but how do you have one without the other? By definition, if I'm seeing the place for growth, in my mind, that means that I am judging that things are not optimized, and now I want to do my part to help the cause.
Yeah. But where does the growth happen? Over there or over here?
The growth happens over there. And the thing that was like the mind-blowing part for me is my success is not in their result. My success is in doing my part to be like a catalyst for the result. And whether they take it and run with it or don't, I still did my part, and I can walk away, feeling good.
Where does the growth happen? Over there or over here?
The growth? Like if I'm talking about growth for them, or you're talking about growth for me?
Either. Where does the growth happen?
I guess I feel like this is a trick question. Both places. The growth happens in me executing on, like, I'm bringing this up, but I don't own the result. So I've done my part, and now they run with it and they do it or they don't. But either way, I'm satisfied.
Where does the growth happen?
Over there. No, over here. I don't know. I really don't know.
That's okay, right? Because we manage ourselves and the waves happen. We manage ourselves, time happens. Where does the growth happen?
I think the answer has to be that the growth has to be with me,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
that's not, this is where I'm like, again, word game. I don't think I'm growing by bringing something up that, like, whatever it is I want to talk to them about. I don't see that as, oh, look at me, I'm growing here.
What could be growing as you're talking with somebody else in you?
Oh, okay. So in this context, a million things, effectiveness, like just getting good at it, like refining the approach, being a better, colleague or leader, or like there's growth all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. And what is your 100% responsibility part?
Well, I'm 100% responsible for me, not them.
Yes. And can you do that without judging them?
I don't see it. I know what the right answer is, but
Yeah.
the whole point of me starting this dialogue is because I saw something that I wasn't satisfied with for them. So by definition, that is judgment. So I think I'd be lying if I said, "Oh no, I can totally do this without judging." Like, no, I'm judging. That's why I'm bringing this up in the first place.
Yeah.
It's between judgment and assessment. So it's like
Yeah.
evaluation. I can assess and evaluate that you're not optimized. Judgment is showing up, attributing good or bad to that evaluation or assessment. At least that's the way it works in my mind. It's good or bad. That's the judgment part. It is, without good or bad, is the evaluation and assessment. And what I've seen externally, just to give you feedback, is you've been more evaluative and less judgmental over time. So if you go from like 2010 to 2020, downward slide on the judgment and upward slide on the evaluation.
So there was some language in there that's really good, right? It's the assignment of good or bad to it. That's really clear language. If I've assigned this is good, this is bad, then I probably am in judgment. If I'm dealing with what is, then I'm just dealing with what is. I'm observing, I'm growing, I do my 100%, but I'm not attached to, is it good or is it bad?
I like the is it true question in here, because like the same, let's call it just numerical. Like I'm at a 5 and it's better to be at a 10, like movement. The is it true is you should be better. Like that is so primal versus there is an opportunity here to grow. Like,
Yeah.
like if you do the is it true, well, they should be better. That's actually debatable because they're them and they do what they do, versus is there an opportunity to grow? Yes. And when you, again, like, I'm not in it, Keith, but yeah, so that helped for me.
Well, it's a good one, right? Because we are all judgmental. If we attach good, bad to it. Like I had a map of the world that if everybody would have simply lived according to what I saw, life would have turned out so great for me, right? I think it would have turned out great for them because I'm judging it, saying this is what would make your life better. but it's not for me to judge for them. But it is for me to just stay in conversations and hold space. It's not good or bad. It just is. And those of you that have coached with me, how many times have you heard, it just is. Let's just look at it. Let's observe it. Just is. And then the other language is it serving you? Is it serving me, right? Like, is it serving me to judge this as bad and then to start the conversation there? Probably not. Does it serve me to observe it as this is what is, and let's talk about it? Absolutely. That's a powerful state. So Tim, I appreciate the feedback for Keith too, that like to be able to actually notice it, like to see that. And a lot of times we don't accurately observe people. We don't allow them to grow. We have a mental model of them from when we met them or when we had an interaction with them 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 weeks ago. And we don't allow people to actually grow. So being able to see the growth is huge for us. It allows us to let go of a story that we're still telling ourselves about somebody that's not happening anymore. So it's very cool. We have about 10 minutes remaining here today. Just to hear some things, we're kind of wrapping up. I want to have this is our last meeting of this kind of thing. I want to have a conversation with Chad and John to see if there's something in the future. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. But for now, what would you say are some things that through the jam sessions that you just discovered about yourself? What are some things that you learned, or what are some, nothing about me or the content, right? It isn't that. I want you to really just look into your own life and go, wow, here's a result, or here's something that's happening in my life that I can see it moving and it's exciting, or here's something that I'm noticing that's different than whatever 8 weeks ago or 10 weeks ago when we started this. What might you say about this?
I've realized I'm focusing more on myself in terms of my internal thinking, not just like rolling with the punches type of thing, but trying to control my own actions, control how I react to things, how I verbally respond to things, and also that it's all about progress, not perfection, right? So that's okay to not get it right away, because like I said earlier, this is a new muscle.
Yeah. And how's that affected your life because you're having that awareness?
I definitely feel less stressed, maybe less anxiety ridden, because I know that if it doesn't turn out perfect, it's not supposed to be perfect. I mean, I'm new to this, so that's okay. And just coping with the fact that it's okay has definitely helped.
Love it. Well done. Tabitha, Tommy?
I think just from like today's, I was thinking when Mike was talking through his situation, just having that discussion with somebody, because maybe they don't like, I was just thinking to a particular situation that had happened like just this week. And so what I thought everybody already like knew, I hadn't actually said to to these people yet. So just like by having that discussion, and there was a better understanding. So that's kind of been like one of my big takeaways today.
Yeah. How about for the whole program? Like how are you showing up in your own life?
Well, I haven't been here for the whole time of this. So, but I think what Amanda said, just kind of like how I react, like my initial response would be to like, that makes me really angry what this person just said, and kind of thinking about, okay, how am I going to respond to this? So I'm not, I guess my initial response probably isn't the best response, but just to think about it before I say what I want. So what I say is conveyed in the way that I really mean it.
Yeah. And being able to really own that, that nobody makes us angry. We have decided to be angry, right?
Right.
Like, They do what they do, but I manage me. So I was either angry because I chose to be angry, or I was not angry because I chose not to be angry. It's very,
Right. And
yeah.
like all went back to that whole thing of I didn't have that initial discussion from the get-go. So I was angry because I didn't have that discussion in the first place.
Brilliant. Brilliant. 100% responsibility. I was angry. I didn't step in and have the conversation. So powerful.
Mhm.
Well done. Tommy?
What I've been sort of working through in my own head is today and as we go through is trying to find the balance that exists between like I can only control myself and I can only work on myself. And so but also trying to remember that that doesn't mean that I can't still serve other people and that I can't put other people like first before myself. And so trying to see where I can be like not, well, this is what I want to focus on. This is what I want to think. And these are the outcomes for myself that I want, but not getting caught in that, well, life isn't about me, and getting caught up that, well, it's, everyone else has their life and everyone else wants to grow. And so trying to find that service mentality, but also this sort of self-improvement or powerful state at the same time. That's what I'm trying to think through and balance and not be so selfish and internally focused at the same time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It goes back to that idea that if I'm going to powerfully serve somebody else, the key to it is to powerfully show up for myself, right? Because if I have a heart of service, but I approach it from a primal state, then it's not really going to be of service to me or them. But when I do my internal work and I'm now showing up powerfully, I am 100% present to serve somebody else and to be in that moment with them from a great place. And then what gets generated out of that is phenomenal. So I love that. And I love that that's your heart, right? That these two things, it's not one or the other. It's actually one is in service of the other. In order to be a great servant leader or to be a great servant in my heart, I have to first be really emotionally literate over here to show up powerfully over there. And I do that by fixing this to show up, to focus there. Ooh, fix this, focus there. That should be a bumper sticker. Yeah, that's really nice. Well done, Tommy. Did that help at all, by the way?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sarah, I haven't heard from you for a while and I get to see you, not just your picture. So how about you? What have you seen in your own life? What do you see about how you show up for yourself in your own life by going through this jam session stuff?
I think the biggest thing is making myself aware that, and I think everybody's kind of said it, but you can't control what others are doing, and to try and, like, in my home life and work, those sorts of things, you always think to yourself, okay, why aren't they doing that? Why isn't that done yet? Why are we still waiting on this, kind of thing. And it's like stepping back and you're not the only person, like at work, that is working with that team, that person, that group, that sort of thing. At home, everybody has things going on. Just because I'm home, doesn't mean that, either A, I have to do it all, or B, they can't do it when they get home, that sort of thing. So just remembering and I guess putting in the mindset and, like, I guess retraining myself that I don't have to do it all. I don't have to think that it all has to be done right now. And, keeping in mind that, of course, there's others that are associated with it. So I have to be patient,
Yeah, being patient, and yet still, like Tabitha said, still showing up for the conversation. And like this started at the beginning with Pudlow saying, my part of it is, did I do what I could? Did I have the conversation? Not did they do what I asked them to, but am I powerfully showing up for the conversation? Am I powerfully showing up to continue to ask instead of just doing it myself? Am I just powerfully showing up for it? Well done. We have like 1 minute left. Anybody else like just, yay, I really want to say this is how my life is shifting because I've been doing these sessions and I can see it and I'm excited about it.
I got a few real quick ones. Number
Okay.
one, I realized I'm just like everyone else. So that was pretty cool to realize that. Then the other is I notice when I do this way more often. And I got a Zoom chat like 3 days ago. Like it happened. Like I read the email. I told myself something about the message and I'm like, oh, this just happened again. So I noticed myself doing this easily on a daily basis and sometimes like by the hour, which is that's not bad. That's just the way it is. And I need to shift back above the line.
Love it. Yeah. Billy, how about you? Don't mean to put you on the spot. Oh, she just left. No, you're over there now. You just shifted on my screen.
I was here and then I was gone and then I came back. If anyone noticed. I think it's when you were talking with Tabitha, the conversation was about choosing to stay above the line, choosing to not be mad at things. It's very liberating. It's very liberating to recognize that that's what's happening. I noticed that with myself lately, not near as angry about things at work, missed deadlines, or people not returning emails. You know what? I can only control what I can control, and I can't worry about it, and I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm going to do my best. And it's just very liberating. I don't worry near as much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sheena?
Yeah, so I turned off my camera because my kids were up and they were fighting.
Oh, yay.
And they were trying to make breakfast. And you guys can probably imagine what thoughts went through my mind. They all had the word shouldn't. They shouldn't be up right now. They shouldn't be making breakfast. They shouldn't be hungry. And
I want to know what they're making.
Well, pancakes, second time.
With the dispenser, like pancake art? Let's do it. I'm coming to your house.
So they're making like the biggest messes imaginable. But my aha through all of this is I'm still having those primal thoughts, but I'm immediately catching them. And my big aha is they live here too. And I can apply that to everything. You know, we all live in this world together. And that just kind of gives you compassion and allows you to focus on yourself and let others focus on themselves. So
Love it.
My big.
Love it.
We all live here. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
Be it my house or earth or, you know, the office, the home offices.
Well, and it is true, right? Like when I focus on being the best me that I then put out into the world, and you focus on being the best you that you put into the world gets better. Like that's how we have the ripple effect that goes on. And it's how we're not the effect of all the waves that come at us. Yeah. So good. Shauna, I think I've called on everyone. Bring us home, girl.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like realizing that you are in that state and having the practice of getting into the primal or the powerful state. So realizing that you're in primal and how do you get into powerful, and knowing that you can control what you can control, and just taking responsibility for yourself because it is your life and you have to live it to the best of your ability.
Amen. Yeah. Do you guys find that the jam sessions help to actually keep it top of mind and help practice it? Like, right? Because it's one thing to do it once. It's another thing to actually sit and simmer in it and see where it shows up in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like any skill, if you are removed from it, you know, I didn't ride a bike for how many years and you get to Key West and it's like, crap, do I remember how to ride the bike? Apparently not.
Pam, I especially like the visual today because if you think about what all of us try to do is like, imagine if that woman in the water stood up and just told the wave to stop. Yeah. And like, that'd be ridiculous, right? Well, that's what we do when we try to prevent life from happening. It's like, wait a minute. And it's easy to see it like as an observer. So yeah, that just popped in my head.
I love that. Very cool. Yeah. So I do want to, if you guys had an opportunity to stay in jam sessions, how many of you think that you would still enjoy, like there's things to be learned? I'm actually thinking about putting a couple of companies together and having jam sessions where it's this company, it's other companies, and then we just keep talking and figuring things out. What do you guys
I
think
like
about
that
that?
idea. I'd like to learn how other cultures solve the same problems that everyone probably has.
Yeah, because we're all humans, right? We're all humans just doing different jobs in the world. But at the end of the day, we're all human figuring stuff out. Cool. Okay. Thanks, you guys. You're awesome. And like I said, I'm going to talk to Chad and John and see about combining and just keeping it going. If it does happen, then it's not going to be the 9 o'clock time. It's going to actually be at 11 o'clock. So if you want to put something on your calendar, and I'm imagining that they're going to say, yes, keep going. But anyway, I'm telling you that it's at 11 o'clock. If it's no, I will send you a little angry face, and then you'll know I'm telling myself a story.
Nice.
Fair?
Sounds good. Thank you, Pat.
You guys
Thanks,
are
Pam.
awesome. Yep. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Bye.
Pam.
Yep.
Bye,
guys.
everyone.